Hey, it's 3 weeks post mastectomy, and I thought I would do a video just checking in and talking about how things have been for the last week. I have 2 other videos that talk about my first couple of days after surgery and my first 10 days, and so this is my 3rd video, just kind of staggering. So after 10 days, I'm going to 3 weeks. So today is 3 weeks and I'm doing really well. I'm still on Gabapentin, to my surprise. I have almost never been on any medication for this long. 3 weeks is a long time for me to be on pharmaceuticals. So that was kind of surprising, not something that I expected. Although I do feel like I could taper down again to just maybe 2 pills a day. I went from 4 to 3 pills per 24-hour cycle about a week and a half ago. So I think I can probably go down to just 2 pills per 24-hour cycle pretty soon here. So just slowly tapering down. The main time that I feel the need for gabapentin is in the evening. I definitely feel it wearing off quicker in the evening than I do in the morning after overnight or in the afternoon after my morning dose. Something new this last week is that I've been doing some really small and slow physical therapy exercises. The most famous one that you'll hear about probably, or you may already know about, is the wall climb, where you kind of push your hand up the wall, either climbing with your fingers or just kind of smoothly shifting your hand up the wall. I've also done some kind of circles like this, and just kind of stretches to see how high I can get this arm. This is my mastectomy side, so this is the arm I'm exercising. So that's been kind of cool to have this new milestone of being able to start exercising. Today I am allowed to exercise for the first time, but I've been doing these physical therapy exercises, these really low-key ones, for a couple of days now. And so I'll link to the YouTuber that has inspired me to do these really gentle and slow ones down below. The other thing I did this week was I got out of the house for the first time, and I took a 2-night beach trip with my sister in my camper van. I do have some regrets. It did not go perfectly smoothly. We mostly ate out, and so I did break my kind of strict rules about what I'm eating, but I knew that would happen with being on the road and eating out. So if you're interested in what I've been eating, I have a whole video about that came out just a couple of days ago, and so I'll link that here up above and down below as well. But the other thing, the major thing that was difficult, was that in my camper van, it's hard to sit up in bed, and one night in particular, I had to sit up many times, partially because of sharing the bed with my sister, and it was really getting tiring and sore for my body to do that. And so I survived. It was fine. I was really exhausted when I got home, and so I took a couple of days to rest. It was totally fine in the end. I don't think I suffered any major consequences because of that, but that was the one thing that was really difficult to manage. So I wouldn't recommend going camping in a camper van or in a tent or anywhere that you have to sleep in a place where it's really awkward to get yourself up. My camper van it's kind of like sleeping on the floor on the bed in there, so just don't have a lot of leverage to get yourself up. So otherwise, it was wonderful to get out of the house, be around people, try out my prosthetics, try out not wearing a prosthetic for the first time. I know that a lot of women won't be comfortable doing that, but for me that was really important, to be in a safe environment with people that I trusted and try having a flat chest on this side physically and just see how that felt for me. And it was really empowering to do so. So I recommend it highly if you're up for it. I did not think I would do that so soon in my journey, but I'm really glad that I did. I think it's really important to be in a really safe environment though when you do that. For me, it was also important that I was not friends with the people around me. They were safe people. I established trust with them, but they were strangers to me at the beginning of the retreat. I was on a writer's retreat, and so just 5 other people in the room, really amazing, wise women who would never be judging me for any kind of appearance flaw. They knew that I had had a mastectomy, so it wouldn't have been a surprise anyway. So I shared that pretty early on in the retreat. So that was a great experience and has given me a really amazing perspective to go forward with. Just in terms of I have choices. When I go out into the world, I can choose whether to wear a prosthesis or not. So it's really, really good to know that. One thing that hasn't changed in the last week is I have not grown tired of wearing these super soft brushed polyester PJs. I have 2 pairs of them. So if you're following me on Instagram, you'll know that I'm wearing these all the time. They are, when I'm not leaving the house, they are what I'm wearing, and I wash them very often for that reason because I only have 2 pair. I went back to the same store where I bought them and hoping that there would be more that I could purchase. I also love them because they have a pocket on the left side, so that makes me less self-conscious when I'm not wearing prosthesis. But they didn't have any more of them in the store where I bought them, and so I bought this outfit instead, which has long sleeves instead of no sleeves, and the same shorts, super fuzzy and soft still. So I love this fabric. This one is a little bit thicker, so I like it a little better than this one, but I like the look of this one, kind of a tie-dye look. So it's nice to have a little diversity. I will definitely be on the lookout for something more like this though, long term. They did have it in a different color, and I might just go back and do that. It just seemed like that other color wasn't as soft as this one though. So anyway, I'm still loving these PJs, living in them. Super important to me to have soft fabric against my skin. I think it's even more important now than it was a week or 2 ago. My skin, especially right here, is just super sensitive, and sometimes down here too, where my drain went in. I'm still a little sore there. And so it just is super extra comforting to have these soft clothes. Have never really worn polyester before, so it's kind of a new shift for me, but maybe I will be a polyester wearer into the future. We will see. I am no longer wearing my funky pink bra or white camisole, but I did put my white camisole on today just to model for you why I don't wear it any longer. I'm not sure if you can see this, but there's a pooch right here, and this is really annoying to me. So I'll lift up so you can see. Because of the zipper starting all the way down here at my belly button and coming all the way up here, the zipper has to fold when you are not sitting up perfectly straight. And so when you sit down in a chair, you get this pooch, and it really bothers me. And I got this paid for by my insurance. I didn't pay for it, but it's an expensive camisole, and it is especially for those wearing a drain. And I didn't know whether I'd get my drain out after week 1 or week 2. I ended up getting my drain out after week 1. This camisole came in really handy when I was wearing my drain, when I was home all the time. It is not a tool that I plan to use when I am not wearing a drain and leaving the house, and there's a couple of reasons. I wanted to mention it's a German manufacturer called Amoena. I'll show you how it's spelled here. And it was a great tool while I was wearing my drain, but I don't like the pooch. I don't like the nylon fabric. I don't like the white color that shows through, you know, when you go like this or like this, if you have something sleeveless on. So, and also it doesn't really keep a prosthesis in place. It doesn't have a pocket here to hold it on the inside like some other things do. So it doesn't really securely handle this prosthesis. So I didn't like that, even though it came with 2 of these, and I really like these, and I will use these in the future. It doesn't hold it in place very well. Also, if you're not wearing a prosthesis in it, you might notice there's some lines right here, and that's because there's gathers. It's kind of gathered, and it's meant to have something in it, a boob or a prosthesis. And so I don't like these lines when I'm not wearing a prosthesis because they show on my clothing, which I'm not sure if you could tell with the camera or not, but that's just something I don't like. So I'm not wearing this anymore, and I probably will not wear it again. Was it worth $78 to wear it for a week and have this little convenient Velcroable pocket to hold my drain on the inside? Maybe. It was a little more comfortable also than my bra was, and so I think for those 2 factors, probably it was worth it. I probably wouldn't have paid that much money though if it wasn't for the insurance paying for it. And it does seem a shame to wear something for a week and then never wear it again. It has a stain on it because I bled on it. Can't get the stain out, so I can't really donate it for someone else to use either. So that's unfortunate, but that's just the way things go sometimes. The things that I do wear most often is when I'm not wearing a prosthesis, I wear this black bra with a zip up in the front, which is nice. I just got this at a regular store, and it does have some little foamy cups inside that are very thin, not very thick. But it gives a nice smooth exterior here for when I'm not wearing a prosthesis. And it is pretty tight. It's, I think, a size small. So I bought it knowing I would need some pressure and compression. And so it does give me a lot of support when I'm feeling like I need that. But when I need to wear a prosthesis, I am just wearing a normal bra. It's a pretty nice bra that I believe I got it at Nordstrom. Not the most sexy bra, but it is skin color, so it's practical. And this one is just the only bra that I had prior to my surgery that does have an inside pocket where you can tuck a prosthesis in. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been getting used to, and this is what I will do in the future when I get a real prosthesis, and not just a little pillow. I will tuck it in there. And so it works really nicely, gives a lot of coverage, and it has, it comes all the way up to here, so there's no line here that shows under a t-shirt. So I really like this. It's pretty comfortable, and because the prosthesis does not touch my skin, I don't need to wash the prosthesis. I only need to wash the bra. So that's been really nice. So I'm really grateful I had this bra, and I will get more bras like this in just a few days when I go to buy my permanent prosthesis, which my next video will be talking about. Oh, I also wanted to mention that I took some padding out of my little pillow prosthesis. I took this much fiberfill out, finally. I was really afraid to do that because I didn't want to change the shape of it, so I was really careful to grab kind of evenly across the top of the pillow. And thankfully I still have a backup, so if I think it's too small and makes me look different than I want to look, I will use this full one that I've never used yet that came with my Camisole. So it's nice to have two. I think I will use this lesser full one when I'm feeling more uncomfortable and don't want the compression, and I'll use this one when I want a lot of compression, feeling more comfortable and less irritated on a given day. Changed my diet a little bit in the last few days. I've been starting to have just a little bit of grain. I don't know, I just needed my smoothie to feel a little more filling, and so I started putting a handful of really healthy granola sweetened with honey, and not very much of it, so just a handful, a little shake of granola to give it a little bit more sweetness and a little bit more heartiness. And then I've had a couple pieces of toast in the last couple days just because I felt like having some comfort food. Again, watch my video on what I'm eating if you'd like to see what my norm is, which is not having any grain or red meat. I did start to have a little seafood in the last week because I was eating out. I didn't want to eat chicken all the time. I was getting really tired of chicken. And so I had some prawns on one occasion and some fish on another occasion. And so just branching out a tiny bit. I haven't had a lot of red meat yet, but I probably will in the next week. At 3 weeks, my brain is still not back to normal or even close to back to normal. This is really surprising to me. So today, for the first time, I started to cooking again. I really ran out of all of my pre-made soups and supplies and pear sauce and everything I had made prior to surgery. Before I even went to the beach, I ran out of that food. And so getting back from the beach, I've been kind of making do with just some salads and some canned soup, but I really wanted to make some homemade soup again. So today I've been making soup, chopping things up, and I burned the soup twice. It was delicata squash, so it was very starchy soup. But I left the room, forgot that I was on the burner, and went outside twice and burned it. And then I burned a piece of toast by leaving the room, getting distracted, going upstairs. And I didn't even smell the smoke, thankfully. I did remember, but it had been like 5 minutes since I put the bread under the broiler in my toaster oven. And so, yes, you should probably not be cooking alone in the house like I was today at 3 weeks. because the brain is not back, even though it feels like it is. It is not, especially, you know, around things like that, forgetting, being distracted. I did have some friends coming over when I was making that soup, and so I was highly distracted, but I think it is wise to be extra careful and make sure your smoke alarm is working if you're going to be cooking while recovering from surgery at week 3. So in the last week, I did run out of these sterile pads that I talked about. This is what I've been stuffing my bra with, and so that's really the main reason why I took the fiberfill out of that prosthesis, is these were really handy for the first week or 2. I could decide on a given day how much pressure I wanted in my bra by sticking 1, 2, or 3 of these pads in. And so I only have a couple left that aren't dirty or haven't been dropped on the floor. And so I would just say, if you really like these, they're the cheap option for sure. And you got these from your doctor. You could always maybe just ask for more or order some in the mail, maybe through an online supplier of some sort. They're just called sterile pads. They're not gauze. You could probably use gauze too, and gauze might be easier to form into a rounder, less square object. But anyway, I really liked using these, and I think I would still use them on a regular basis if I had them. So I don't know what I would do differently, because they gave me a whole bunch of them from the hospital initially, but they came in really handy. I really like them. They're soft to the touch, and they give just the right amount of pressure for whatever you're feeling like putting in. Like I said, my pain level continues to be pretty high. My sensitivity in my ribs and my armpit is maybe as high as ever in the last week. So the pain really hasn't gone down. I'm really surprised how sensitive my ribs are. I can't really tell why that would be. Like maybe my muscles were somehow affected. I don't know. But just to say that it's still a painful time. It's still a time when you don't want to be moving quickly or jerking yourself, catching something. And I haven't driven yet, and I don't feel comfortable driving yet, just because my range of motion isn't as smooth yet in terms of using my left hand and my left arm. Along the same lines, my bruises are still there, mostly in the center here where my incision is. It's turned from yellow in the last week. It's turned more of a grayish blue color, and it's pretty subtle, but it's still there kind of in the center. And the center of my would-be breast is still very numb. I can feel pressure, but I can't feel the touch on the skin when I touch it. So the areas around the breast, here in the sternum, down in the ribs, and on the side, especially in the armpit, are very, very sensitive to touch. But in the center here, it is very much numb, and I expect that it will be long term. So like I said, my next video will be the adventure of getting my permanent prosthesis, or maybe 2, and all of the bras that they want to pour upon me. Apparently my insurance is very generous with bras and camisoles. So I'll come home with a big bag full of goodies, and I will share that with you in my next video in just a couple of days. So I will see you then. Bye-bye.